Hello, welcome to another video in this Ruby on Rails quiz app series. And before we dive deep into this, I've created a Telegram group in which you guys can communicate with me freely. At the same time, I can also communicate with you. Point is pretty simple that if you have any questions, feel free to ask. That's the only point. There is no charges or anything around that for now, at least. But the only condition is that I've kept the limit of that group to be 50. So whoever comes first will be able to join the group. That's all. So yeah, let's start. Now, we have done a lot of database related work, which if you have understood, and now you just have to focus on the easy stuff. Obviously, there will be hard stuff which will come later on when we integrate device. But right now, another set of easy work will start. Okay. But before we go into that, we will have to integrate one gem. Okay. So let's understand those things first. Two, three couple of videos back, there were quizzes on the home page, but we are unable to see them now. Because in my last video, I dropped the entire table. I used something called as Rails DB drop to remove the entire database. So first we'll understand all the database related commands. That's one. Second, we'll understand what are gems. And third, we will add a particular gem to provide some basic setup questions and answers by default whenever we run the database. Okay, so let's understand all these things. Rails DB commands. There are, I think, 6 to 7 different commands. Let's try to understand them. Some of them are like, you have used some of them. Rails DB migrate, Rails DB create, drop. Then there is, I think, setup, reset. Let's see. So what are these? Okay, no. Nope. These are all the commands, important commands. Rails DB migrate, when you have written some migration and want to migrate the database, basically going ahead in the database. Okay. For example, right now, whatever is our database, if we will add a user, so we have to change our schema to with that particular user also. So that's a migration. Create when you are creating the database. Only two of them are there. Okay. Rollback when you want to migration is going ahead, rollback is going behind. Okay. Schema, understand the schema and dump and clear and all those kind of things around that. Seed, when you want to load the seed data. So that's our thought process right now, that we want to provide basic data by default, so that even if we remove all the database, we don't have to go to console to add again and again quiz and questions. We'll just create a file which will get loaded automatically. Okay. So let's focus on that. Okay, so these are some of the commands which are important. You can go in depth, or when we are using, you will automatically understand it. It's not something which you should go prior. It's pretty straightforward. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, I'm just checking if I'm missing something. Let me try out actually. Rails DB. Now if I use Rails DB, type help. Okay, Rails DB help. Nope. Okay, it has gone into database mode of PostgreSQL. So let's not go into that. That is not required. We use Rails console and we have a front end and everything, so it's not a big deal. So now, as I mentioned, we want to create some basic questions and answers by default. So for that, what we will do is we'll use a gem called Faker. Now, what are gems? Gems are basically libraries. Okay. So if you have used any other framework, libraries are a set of code which you can use in your project, right? Similar to that, gem is a set of code which someone else has written, but it is so helpful that they have created it in such a way that anyone can use it easily. Okay, that's the main purpose. For example, you on your own can create a library. Okay, for example, you have created a library when someone you have written a code that when someone uploads a picture, that will automatically get converted to circular image. Okay. Now, if you have created such a code, you can convert that into a library, name it as, let's say, circular image Rails. And if someone wants to use it, you will make it in such a way that if someone just uses circular image and give the URL of that image, it should be visible in circular. Okay. So that's what the purpose of Rails libraries are, or in Rails framework, we say them gems. Okay. So let's start. We want to add a gem called Faker gem. Okay. So you can go to this particular link, or you can find Ruby gems also. I normally, if, okay. Ruby gem is the main repository of thousands of various gems or libraries in Ruby. Okay. Now, generally what I do is I go to that link, but in that also I will go to their documentation homepage, or sometimes there are code related things also. Okay. So I'll go to that. Okay. Documentation, it's fine. But this one. Okay. So I prefer the documentation or GitHub. I prefer that. You can prefer any one. All of them should be sync. If the library is good, all of them will be in sync. Okay, so let's start. What they've mentioned is getting started. Okay, add this gem. Okay, where do we add this? We have to add it in gem file. Okay, so what happens is we have two files. I mentioned this in very start of the videos that we have two files, gem file and gem file. What it means is that in gem file you can mention what all libraries you want to add, and when you do the installation part of those libraries, the final version, which is gem file lock, gets created. You don't normally edit it. You actually never edit this file. You just edit the gem file, and based on that, gem file lock will get updated. And you will see this here also. Okay. I am adding gem faker. I'll write bundle install. Okay. Because right now I've just added it to gem file. I haven't made any changes. So let's install it. And now it has been installed successfully. You can find it in log file also. You can see faker, internationalization, this. Okay, great. So we have added our faker gem. What it will do is it will help us to create fake data, which is important. We will be able to create fake data. Now let's see how we can create that. Okay. So they have mentioned you can use something called as faker. So basically using that, we are able to access their code. And if we write faker name.name, we are able to generate random name, or address. We are able to generate random address. We don't have to worry about what it is. Okay. So let's work on this. So what we'll do is we'll go to seeds.rb file, because as I mentioned, we want to add fake data to our database. Now, if we want to add that, let me close this. If you want to add that, that part goes to seeds.rb file. Okay, they have given in an example how you can do that and everything around that. We'll do something similar. So what we'll do is we'll create 5 quizzes. Okay, uh, yeah. So 1 2, let's say 10, 1 to 10 in. Let me. I completely forgot this. I have written so many times. Then also I am forgetting this. Just because JavaScript is my common language right now. Loop in Rails. Actually, why should I go to this? Let me go to my own code. GitHub. Okay, that code is not available. No issues. Let's try this. 1, 2, do, and okay. Now it should loop to 1 to 10. Okay, either it will. Let's do. What is happening? Okay, loop in Rails. Simple. Don't worry about it. Okay. Not this one, not this one. I can do for loop also, but I just, because I've started that, I want to finish that 1 to 10 one thing. Loop in Rails. Actually, I should write loop in Ruby. Where is it? 1 to 10, 1 to 10, 1 to 10. Nope, not this one. This one, each. Okay, I was forgetting each. 1 to 10, yes. Dot each, do. We don't need index, I don't think so. Now I'll create a quiz. So for creating the quiz, it's similar to what we wrote in console. So dot create, okay. When we are creating a quiz, we'll need title. Okay, so now we can name this quiz something, but if we will name it something, it will keep on repeating itself because of this loop, right? We can use an index to make it a bit different. Sorry, a bit different, like quiz 1, quiz 2, quiz 3. But the better way would be to use faker gem. Okay, faker. Uh, should I give some title or anything? Does it have some title or anything? Books, quotes. Let's go books. It's fine. Whatever is the book title, we'll use that as quiz title. Okay, book dot title. Okay, so it will give us a random book name, which will be our random quiz name also. Okay, so that's one. Along with that, let's check the schema. Quizzes, we have description also. So let's add description also. Okay, faker. For description, do we have anything? Nope. Games, features, default, drone, fantasy games, internet. What's internet? Nope. Quotes. For description, we'll use a random code. Oh, Rajnikant code. Okay. can get rid of his shadow. Okay, let's use this. It's nice seeing this again after a long time. Okay, so this will create quizzes for us. Let's see if it has done that. Technically, it has not. We can see this. Okay, Rails console quiz dot all, and we can see there are no quizzes. Why? Because we will have to add this data. How can we add it? Earlier we had seen one thing, which was seeding the data in Rails DB. So Rails DB, okay, it will take some time. Let me check if it worked. Rails C, sorry, quiz dot all, and we can see it has many quizzes now. How did it decide? Okay, tiger, carrier comfort. This is a Rajni related joke. This is a Rajnikant related joke. So we can see that we were able to add quizzes. Now at the same time, let's run our server. Rails C, or I'm Rails S, refresh. And we can see all the quizzes on our website. Okay, we will design them correctly, may add all questions and all those kind of things also. But right now, that's fine for us. Let's add questions also. Let's do that setup work. Let's add questions. So for that, title, option A, option B, option C, option D. Great. So 1 to 100 dot each, or maybe let's say do 50 only. Question dot create title faker. I'll use book dot title only. You can use anything. You just have to go through detail in the documentation, or you can find a fake. I'll link one fake related video which I have created in depth. You can understand that also. But generally, you should not be worried about this because it's just a fake data. We'll add our own data when we have UI related to adding that, right? Option A should be. Let me use this here. Or maybe I just want to find something which UI wise in the end should make sense. Let's use this. We don't have any questions related things, right? Option A will be book title. Option B will be again book title. Option C. Option C will again be this. And what I'll do is I'll add till option C only. If equal to I think there is even odd thing. Remember there is even odd thing in Rails, but I'm just doing it quickly. Else and what I'm doing is basically if there is an option B, for odd number of questions I'm keeping option C available, and for even I'm keeping option D available, and for everything else I'm not keeping anything. Okay, or maybe I can do this three else if I mod 3 equals to 1, else we'll keep something which has all the options. Okay, so basically just creating a different type of permutations. One will have D as null, one will have C as null, but C should technically not be null. But still we can do that. So yeah, let's do that. Or maybe I should get rid of it. So both of them are null, one is available, and both of them are available. Okay, three combinations I've created, and let's see what has happened. So what I'll do is Rails DB. Now if I use seed, let's do that and understand what will happen. Rails console, task has finished, quiz dot all. Sorry, quiz dot count. and we can see there are 20 quizzes. Why? Because whenever you use rails.db seed, it will run this script seeds.rb and add the data. That doesn't mean that it will drop the previous data. Okay, and that's why we have 20 of these now. And we can see that question dot count will give us 51. Okay, maybe we had one earlier. Let me check that. Quiz dot first. No, sorry. Question dot first. Yeah, this was the first one that we added yesterday in the previous video. So that's why we have 51. That's fine. But the main point here is that if you're using seed, it won't drop the previous data. It will keep on adding on that. Okay, so what I'll do is instead of that, I prefer rails.db reset. Prefer this only during development. Okay, but if the database is going way beyond, then I do seed also. It depends. Now rails c quiz dot count. You can see it's working. Question dot count, and in this also we'll have 50 only now because reset will reset the entire database. Okay, clear. Now let's add mapping also, or maybe actually I should have added correct answer also. I forgot that. That's my mistake. So we need correct answers and we need this mapping. So let's focus on the correct answer first. Okay, correct answer needs a question ID and option. Okay, so we can take this as a variable. Okay, assigned but not used. Great. And what we will do is correct answer dot create. Inside that we'll use this correct option. We need to figure out how to give that correct option correctly. At the same time, we need question underscore ID, which will be this question dot ID. Okay, so we can use this question dot ID to set the question ID. At the same time, we can use correct option to figure out what option you want to set. Here we have three options. So what I will do is I'll use this only because there are three options. I'll use I mod 3. Okay, 012 will work. Okay, now because there are two options, I'll use this, and because there are four options, I'll use 4 0 1 2 3. Yes, you can do anything. You can figure out a way to randomly pick number between 0 to 2 and 1, 0 1 and 2, 0 and 2, 0 and 1, and 0 1 2 3. So you can figure out those things. It's not a big deal. So this is also done. Now we have to figure out the mapping also. But for mapping, I'm not worried about. I could have improved it in a bit better way. But what we can do is we know that all the quiz IDs will be 1 to 10 and all the question IDs will be 1 to 50. So we can add quizzes accordingly. Okay. So for each quiz, let me add questions first. We have added the questions first. Now we'll go to quizzes and random number in Ruby. Let's generate a random number so that we can decide how many questions we want to add. 10 dot times map this. Nope. We just need random dot this. And yes. My day-to-day job doesn't use Rails, and that's why I don't remember these things. But yeah, the logic will remain the same even if I write it in Rails or JavaScript or anything. Okay, so this is completely different. Random.10. Okay, let's not worry about this. We'll see. Maybe what I can do is I can use puts. Let me quickly understand this. Rails DB reset 8. Okay. If I do it, let's say couple of times, I just want to understand what will be the minimum and maximum value. So I think 0 to 10. Okay, great. So that was my doubt that it will start with 0 only because most of the programming language do that. So if it is starting with 0, that means, and the ID of any question cannot be 0, right? We want to add these questions which have IDs 1 to 50 for sure, because in each loop we have only one question, right? So each of those will have question ID 1, question ID 2, 3, and up to 50, correct? So now I'll generate a random number, random random.rand, and I'll generate it between 5, no, 6, between 6, and I will add 5 from it in it. So what it means is that total questions equals to, so what it means is that minimum 5 questions will be there. The minimum value of this can be 0 and the maximum can be 5. So what it means is that the total questions can be between 5 to 10 for each quiz. Okay, and I want in that category only. So what I will have to do for this is now just loop it for loop in Rails again, just because now I have to use a different loop. I can use while loop, but I would prefer for loop for 1 0. Okay, for I in 0 dot dot total questions. Okay, and great. Where is it? Do we need I? I don't think so. We don't need that. So why do we? Let's do this only. Dot each do this. Okay. So let me think. The total question will be minimum 5. 0 to 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. And now we just have to find the correct question ID, which can be between anything between question underscore ID. It can be between 1 plus 50. By 50, we mean it will start with 0 and go all the way till 49. If it is 0, which is minimum, the ID will be 1. If it is 49, the ID will be 50. And the question ID range we have is 1 to 50 only. So we got the question ID. We can get the quiz ID also here. Okay, let's, for your simplicity, I'm just writing it quiz ID equals to quiz dot ID, but we won't use it like this. And finally, I just have to create the mapping. So quiz question, let me check the database, quiz question mapping. So quiz question mapping dot create. Sorry, it took some time. It's just that I'm a bit out of touch with Ruby. Question ID is basically the question ID that we have. And quiz ID is basically the quiz dot ID. Let's get rid of this. Okay, this will create the mapping. So we should have all the questions correctly mapped also. We'll see. So before I do that migration, I'll have to go to Rails C console, question dot count, sorry, question dot count. Why do I have 0 questions? Did I? Yes, I did remove it. So what I'll do is I'll just comment this for now. Go to this terminal, clear, and I will add all the questions and quizzes, but not their mapping, okay, along with the correct answers. So Rails DB reset. It will take a couple of seconds. Let's see. By the way, using Faker, you can generate fake images also. Okay. Okay, the instance is already getting used somewhere. So yes, here it is. If you are using console, that is considered as an instance. Question.id, 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 where was it? Why it did not work? Create should return it, right? ID is null. Okay, so the problem here is that this definitely is not getting finished before it's going to here. That's what I'm assuming. Correct answer question dot ID. It should have worked. It should have worked. Okay, if it is not working, let's simplify this. Let's not worry about it. Someone can mention it in comment result. So we have to generate correct answer for 50 questions, right? So let's get rid of it from here. This will just create all the 50 questions and this will generate all the 50 answers. Okay, I got the problem. Now when I was removing it, I got the problem. Question dot ID. Great, but we need this for these things also. Question, question. Okay, clear. Great, it worked. Now, remember, we haven't added the mappings yet. Okay, Rails console question dot count. We have 50 questions. Correct answer dot count. We have 50 correct answers. Quiz dot count. We have 10 quizzes, and because we have done them in a specific serial, all of them will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, to up to 10 and up to 50 IDs. Okay, great. Now, what I want to check is if I use question dot first dot correct answer, it gave me the correct answer, okay, related to that. And if I use something similar for last, it gave me correct answer for that also, which was 58. Okay, I have done one-to-one mapping and that's why it is working like that. Now, at the same time, we'll go to Rails console again and check question. What is this quiz question mapping? Quiz question mapping dot all dot count. It's 0, which we knew already that it will be 0. Okay. And if I use quiz dot first dot questions, we don't have any questions. Let's see. Have we used that as a model? Let's go to model quiz questions. Okay. Okay. It will work only if there are quiz question mappings. I'm assuming so, but we will still have to. It should have worked, but I think it is not working because we don't have any quiz question mapping. So what I'll do is I'll exit this now, clear this. Now let's first add the details that we want. Okay, because without that mapping, we are unable to check, right? Clear Rails DB. Again, remember reset so that entire database gets reset. Great. Rails console quiz. I think I was using question last time. I'm not fully sure, but in last instance, I was using question, and that's why in questions we don't have questions, but I'm not fully sure. No worry about that. Already knew that there would be a problem because we haven't added these question mappings. So quiz dot first dot questions dot count. Okay, could not find the association quiz question mapping. Mapping is not there. Okay, so it should be mappings. Because I'm confident that I added the data, I was able to identify this error, which I should have identified in last case only. But at that point, I knew that I should have got an error already. Quiz dot first dot questions dot uh, count, and we have 10 questions. Great. Let's check the IDs of all. Dot plug ID. Just a minute. Sorry. Enter. And we have these IDs 1 to 47. Great. Different ones. Now let's check this for second also. It's a bit different, and the number of questions are less. Let's try it for last. And again, the numbers are different at the same time. They are less than 10. So the logic that we decided that for each quiz we will have 5 to 10 questions, it worked, right? And we can check it also easily. Let's exit this, clear. We should start our server, Rails server. Let's go here, close this, close, refresh, and we can see all the quizzes here. But what I will do is I'll go to my UI in views, home, index, and in here, for now, let's do this questions dot count temporarily. Okay. 10, 7, 7, 8, 7, 6, 9, 7, 10, 6. So all of these quizzes have these many questions. Okay. So I hope you have understood basic commands of databases like seed, reset, migrate, create, drop. You have understood how to add fake data, and you have understood how these mappings and everything work. Okay. So let me check. It was related to this that we were trying incursion, right? Incursion, and it should have been in 1, 2, I think 0, 2, 2, 3. Let me quickly check this. What was the comment? Okay, I have to add this. Yeah. So this should have also worked. But yeah, we checked that in last video and it's not a big deal, but still someone messaging it in the comment section is really helpful so that everyone else can see. Okay. So if you have any doubts in this, feel free to comment. Okay. That's it for now. Do share, subscribe, like, and also feel free to become a member where I put some more content which I cannot mention publicly or which I'm exploring. I don't want to reveal that publicly right now. That's it. Thank you. Bye bye.